Denim is in demand at Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston. Get cash on the spot for everything denim. Bring in your trendy and classic styles of gently used name brand denim. Get paid for your denim shorts, skirts, jackets, jeans, and more. We're looking for denim that is blue, black, or a bold color, and jeans in styles like mom jeans, bootcut, baggy, flared, and ripped. We want everything denim. Sell your denim for cash at Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
No music, no intro. We officially have football back. Saints football is back. Saints Twitter is back. We got babies getting blocked and canceled and tweets being deleted by opposing fans. And we got to break down football's back, which means that the Saints have to lose a game in the fourth quarter on defense in dramatic fashion. We back, baby.
Back, man.
Back. I wanted to give a shout out to all y'all who came into the Zoom live stream. It was only a few of us this time. I think like at the peak, it was 8 of us in there total. But shout out to everyone who was able to join, even if it was a short period of time. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank y'all for supporting us. And I feel like I'm going to do a lot of the heavy lifting on this episode.
Wolf ain't show up.
Wolf was MIA, man. Wolf was MIA.
I showed up late though.
He did. You did show up late. I don't know why I'm speaking to you like in the third person, like you're not on the pod right now. But there was Saints football today, and I wrote a lot of things in my little book, my notes. You know, even during the live stream, like keeping notes. And I feel like sometimes our podcast can skew a little negative. So I want to start with the positives. We'll start with the positives off the bat. So I'm just going to break down the good things that I saw. Okay. Defense, even though it wasn't like the defense at full strength, but the first team, quote unquote, defense that was on the field tonight, they looked great, man. Like, I know we talked about kind of like the pause from the Debo, don't back me, bro.
Yeah.
Then kind of like, you know, like Mike Thomas came back. Like maybe some of that momentum had, you know, dissipated in training camp. You couldn't tell in this game. He outstanding. In this game, just the defense was just pursuing to the ball. Big shout out to Chase Henson. He's been with the team before. They brought him back after Kiko Alonso practiced for 2 practices and said, you know what, this ain't for me no more. I know that depth behind Pete Warner is a concern and something that they're wanting to address, but Chase Henson had a lot of great snaps. And the first team defense looked great, man. Like I was thoroughly, I know it was preseason, vanilla offense they were going against, but just the little things you want to see from a defense, pursuit, aggressiveness, like you saw it all from the defense. And that was great to see from the start because at the end of the day, that's the identity of this team is the defense.
No, absolutely. I was listening to it on the radio and, I could just tell from the audio that the defense was feisty, man. So who all was on defense in the first team? Who wasn't on defense?
Basically the entire. So Cam Jordan wasn't out there. DeMario wasn't out there. Obviously, Pete Warner's hurt. Marshawn's dinged up. We saw a lot of shot total. We saw some Contavious Street. Bradley Roby was playing opposite of a Debo, and then it was Marcus May and Marcus May and PJ, I think, were the safeties that were back there that manned it. And they look great. First 3 plays on defense, it was a 3 and out. Debo had 2 great plays on second and third down, got him off the field. Chase Hansen had a tackle for loss, first play of the game, led to a Texans punt. And then sticking with the good, positive, optimistic side of things, and he Dalton out here cooking, bro. And y'all cooking, bro. The first team offensive line, I was keeping track of that, so it wasn't pinning in with the first team offensive line at left tackle. It was James Hurst, and then the rest of the line, as we come to know, with Pete, McCoy, Reese. Ram played? Maybe I don't know if Ram played. Maybe it was Landon Young. I don't know.
I think it
I
was.
would guess. Was it? Interesting. But Andy Dalton looked in control of the offense. He was throwing in rhythm. He was on target, and it just looked seamless, man. It was so the thing that I just kept thinking about was just competent. Like it just looked, even though the offense wasn't at its full strength,
right?
It just looked like a competent offense that just drove him down the field. Dwayne Washington got a lot of the snaps, in that drive, and had some good runs, and it ended with a touchdown, a Dwayne Washington touchdown, like on a little screen pass towards in the red zone. And again, there's not a quarterback controversy, but as a Saints fan, man, you got to be like, damn. Like I know maybe we joked and kind of like Andy Dalton at the beginning, and I wasn't poo-pooing Andy Dalton the signing in and of itself. I was just maybe poo-pooing like, man, we lost Marcus Williams and now we didn't sign Andy Dalton and we're not gonna get like a third round comp pick type of thing. Right. But he's looked great. Everything we've heard from him in his training camp practices translated against the Texans in that first drive.
Yeah. And I expected this. That's why I was so happy when we signed him because he fits so well in this offense. He ran similar with Jake Gruden, kind of like I wouldn't say the same offense, but a lot of the same verbiage. Just that whole that West Coast Gruden type offense. So I just thought he would, and especially with the weapons they put around him, man. I just think he's gonna excel in this offense. It's just him. It's just him. It's perfect for him. That's why he just looks so excited when you see him interviewed. He just looks like he's like they asked him on the presser. It was like, is it a lot to handle this and that? He was like, no. It's like, man, I got this. You ready, man? Like, and I love it, bro. Like as far as like your backup, that's what you want. You want your backup to want to be the starter. Andy Dalton still wants to be the starter.
Absolutely.
I know Andy Dalton's history very well. I watched it closely. Had some good years in Cincinnati. Fell out. Was with the Bears for a little bit. Then went to Dallas. I don't think Mike McCarthy's offense was a good fit for him. But I think with the Saints, man, I'm not saying he's going to be the starter. He's going to beat out Jameis or anything. I'm saying you got a guy where Jameis rolls his ankle like he just did a week ago. Something like that. You got a guy that can just come in and you don't have to be sweating bricks, bro. He can run your offense,
And that's a huge thing to kind of have, like kind of peace of mind. That shit, maybe we're not going to go 0-2. Maybe we're not going to go 0-3 in this stretch. If we go 2-1, our season isn't lost.
And we've seen it, bro. Like, as blessed as we was with Drew Brees all them years, I mean, just look at the last couple of years. We had the 4 or 5 game stretch with Teddy. Then the next year we had like the 4 or 5 game stretch with Taysom. Then last year was just went nuclear. Just nuclear. We had everybody playing quarterback. So we know very, very well. Now, obviously, the Saints realized very well, like, man, we need competent backup quarterback play.
Competent. And I mean, I feel like that's what Andy Dalton brings. I don't know. I'm not gonna push the red rifle agenda, bro. I'm not gonna push it, but
I'm gonna push it.
Say it, bro. If Jameis ain't back by next week next Friday against the Packers, bro, and Andy Dalton go out there and slinging that thing against a good Packers defense, bro, you gotta hold me back.
Let me tell you something. Jameis, he put some ice on that ankle tonight, bro. Ice on. He said, man, look, I'm going out there. I'm gonna put a brace on it, whatever. Walking boot. He gonna be out there in a walking boot, man. He not about to let. You can't let him do that, man. Because man, you can't let nobody get in the door, bro.
You can't. You absolutely can't.
But the funny thing is, they're so different, though. Like Jameis and Dalton are completely different.
Night and day.
And like what Jameis is good at, Dalton's not really good at. And what Dalton's good at, Jameis has struggled at. So it's like, I don't know.
Like if you just put them, if you could combine them like Captain Planet, bro, and like one quarterback,
it'd be great.
You'd be good to go. So I do want to continue with the positive. In regards to, I mean, I talked about the offense. I think James Hurst looked good out there. There was a couple of like Ruiz snaps where it's like, there's 51, like there he is. But just some things that I noticed just watching the game. I noticed that Traquan Smith and Deontay Hardy was playing late in the second quarter.
Yeah.
No, Traquan actually, I think he was actually out there a little bit in the second half too. That was noticeable to me. I noticed that Marquez Callaway catches a pass. He got like a nice slant route, had some good yard after catch after it on that first offensive drive, and I think he maybe played the second offensive drive. But other than that, like his day was done. So something that you talked about when we did the Texans preview is you were just very interested of like who wasn't playing,
right?
Like because that in itself can be a very telling thing,
right? And something you know, like you can't go crazy with it, but it's just noted, you know.
Yeah, and it may honestly mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I saw it, I was like, okay, does Callaway have a better grasp on making the team than maybe people may have thought beforehand? Like it was just something that you was like, okay, interesting. But I wrote a couple of things down, and so we'll kind of just go through them. As good as the defense looked in the first drive, and dominant that they looked, and obviously they're not at full strength. The thing that just really stood out to me, not so much the first drive, but as the game kind of went along, second, third defensive drive, what have you, and there was still a lot of defensive line starters out there. As I just wrote it down, I said defensive tackle is a huge concern. And I know you and I have talked about it, but like seeing it, David Onyemata didn't play, so it was a lot of shot total. Kadavius Street made some good plays. I think he definitely had some good snaps out there. But I just kept thinking like the only thing that's holding this defense back to just being stellar is like just one person on the interior that can just demand attention here and there.
Yeah. No, I think you tweeted earlier when you quote tweeted somebody saying if you could bring anybody back from their prime, not QB, you said Nick Fairley.
Fairley, bro.
Look, which probably caught a lot of people by surprise, but like Nick Fairley in his prime was a problem.
Like even that one season or whatever season it was, he played with the Saints, bro, when he was healthy before his heart condition, bro. Like there was games where he was dominant,
and he didn't have much around him either.
Yes.
You know? But like you're right, man. That's why I said a couple of days ago, I was like, man, I wish we just could have figured it out with Akeem Hicks, brought him back, man, because he's going to Tampa. But like even if he just gave us 30-40% snaps, I feel like it could have been something that's it just feels like that's a kind of a haunted position of the team right now. Really, the whole middle with the linebacker and the DT, but especially the DT, because at least the linebacker you do have Mario.
Right.
But DT, I mean, I know you got Onyemata. I love Onyemata, but it's like, he's a certain type of player, man. You just need somebody like that.
And so, as I'm just making note, just in terms of as preseason goes on. I tweeted it earlier. This is before the Saints game, but I tweeted when I'm watching preseason games. I'm watching other teams. The two positions I'm watching most on other teams, and I'm quote unquote doing little scouting on like who could potentially be a linebacker 3, and I'm also paying attention to who could be a defensive tackle and running back, because I think those are the 3 positions that are still kind of so running back 2, running back 3. Mark Ingram was not even suited out and dressed out, so I think that tells you what his roster spot if there was. Questioning that, which I felt like there should have been more questions in regards to Mark Ingram's roster spot. Obviously, the team does not. So those are like I'm watching. I tweeted. I watched the 49ers play yesterday, and Oren Burks, who's a former draft pick of the Packers, who's now with the 49ers, he's like a backup linebacker for the 49ers that like might make the team, and like he was just making plays everywhere, bro. Just I'm like, man, who is this? If he's cut, can we get him? So defensive tackle is a concern, and if I'm the Saints, I don't know what the cost would be, but like I'm calling up Ndamukong Suh and saying, can we like work out a 1-year deal? You know, you get to go against Tom Brady twice a year. They don't want to bring you back. Might just heavily incentive type of contract, because like that to me, like that's kind of like the kind of player that's missing on this front to truly elevate it to where it needs to be.
And he doesn't even like have to start early. Like even if you just bring him and you let him work himself back into shape and kind of ease him into the season, like that's the type of player, man, that can make a difference for you. Come December, January, like that's a signing I would make if he's still out there.
Yeah, man, easily. Keep going down the list. We gotta talk. Speaking of defensive line, we gotta talk about Peyton Turner, bro.
Yeah.
Now you came late in the second half, almost like late third quarter, going to the fourth.
Yeah.
And we talked about Peyton Turner needed snaps because he does, and he did because of he missed so much time last season. He needs snaps. He needs to play. But seeing him play against the Texans, second string, third string, and not doing nothing, bro.
I was just texting with somebody. I'm not gonna put their name out, but they're well known on Twitter. He was like, "Man, that boy looked bad." You know what I'm saying? Like that boy looked bad. Like he didn't look bad. He didn't look good.
No. Which I wonder, like, and that's why we talked about what DA said in the preview pod. He said, yeah, practice is important. Practice is great, but like,
you got to see it.
What can you do in the game? And what we saw in the game right now, like, there's been kind of like, if you like the first 2 weeks of training camp, 2.5 weeks of training camp, and people were typing their articles of like players that stood out the most. Peyton Turner was like the number one name before he got like deemed up. Mm-hmm. It was like, he looked great. He's blah blah. And it's like, is he still hurt or what? Because if he's not, like, we said that him and Marcus Davenport is like the quote unquote little key to make this defense truly elite. I gotta see more from Peyton Turner, bro. I gotta see more from him.
Well, the thing is, I talked about it on our stream, is players like him who are, big, long, pause, that, I'm just saying, like, they have to either play with great leverage, but it's hard to do since they're so tall. If they're not going to play with leverage, they got to play with power. Marcus Davenport has figured that out. He knows he's a power rusher. Like, that's how he wins.
Yes.
But Peyton Turner, he's still trying to do this little finesse thing, spin moves and all this. Nah, bro, you got to get in their chest and overpower him. And he just hadn't showed it yet, man. Like, he has to figure out who he is as a player. He's still at that point. He's nowhere near the point. And it kind of reminded me of just little words I heard by Cam Jordan and Dennis Allen, that he just kind of got a ways to go, bro. Like, he has a ways to go. He's not like this product that's like right on the precipice of blowing up. I think he has a ways to go. So it wouldn't shock me if we barely see him this season, bro. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Oh, do you know how bad that would be?
It would be bad, man, but it's like reality,
It's funny not funny, but it's wise of you to bring up what DA have said about him, because you've been one of the few people that's kind of been on it of just his the comments just off the cuff when Peyton Turner's brought up in these pressers and like DA's response, like you've really taken note of like what he's saying, because it's kind of like, yeah, like it may be reported that he's doing this, but like it's like we still need to see it.
Yeah, you just see it. And look, DA ain't in love with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't head coach when these guys were selected. I'm sure he had his words and put his scout notes in or whatever, but DA ain't not in love with none of these people. It was like when he came in and Stephon Anthony was starting. DA came in was like, nope. Can't do it. Moved him to strong side linebacker, and that was it. You know, so like DA want players, bro.
Yo, I mean, I'm going to say this, and this is completely premature, but all I'm going to say is that if it's too early to tell, but if Peyton Turner isn't the guy that they thought they drafted last year, that changes the whole entire complexion of last year's draft class, bro.
Oh man, it's like a big.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh my God! It completely changes it, bro.
Because it would be. So you drafted Ruiz in 2020. Drafted Peyton Turner in 2021, and again, it's early, so I'm not writing them off. There's still time, all that, not writing them off. And then, like, potentially missing on 2 players drafted in the first round is how, like, teams don't take a step to being, like, elite or great.
Right.
Like, we've talked about it with the whole Marcus Davenport thing and all that. But we'll see. There's still time, so I hope he has a better game against the Packers. I didn't lead with this, and I feel like I should have. The biggest outcome, regardless of the score, is that no one got hurt in this game for the season, which is all that matters in preseason. At the end of the day, the rest of it is just nitpicking, and we wouldn't be doing our quote unquote jobs if we didn't nitpick or break it down, or what we feel our thoughts are of the game. I put this in my notepad, and I put Hurst greater than sign pending, bro. What's up, Ryan?
Yo.
I'm just going to say this. I don't want you to get offended. I'm a big dude. You a big dude. Damn. And I know sometimes weight loss has been an issue that we both dealt with our entire lives. But I want to tell you about something that I came across about this great new company called Vertimax.
Okay.
Did you know that Vertimax is the leading sports performance and fitness equipment company that's used by half of D1 programs and half of the NFL and NBA teams? We have an NFL podcast. It's used by professional leagues as well as other teams all around the world. There's the Vertimax platform, and there's a Vertimax Raptor used to help athletes improve their performance on the field for almost 3 decades. That's almost as old as you. I know we pick on him, but did you know that we pick on him in terms of his workouts? But Jameis Winston actually has trained on a Vertimax Raptor, and the King of New Orleans himself, Drew Brees, has trained on a Vertimax platform, along with other top NFL and college football pro athletes. I was just scrolling on TikTok. I saw Amari Cooper using a Vertimax machine.
Wow.
We know we have a lot of listeners that have kids. They're in sports. They're in soccer, baseball, football, track and field, you name it. If you're a parent and you want to help your child improve in terms of their sports performance, or maybe you just feel like you just want to get your body right for the summer and get fit, you need to check out Vertimax. So all you have to do is go to Vertimax.com or follow them on social media at Vertimax. That's VERTI Max. Again, that's at VERTI Max. Vertimax.com. Look into getting yourself a Vertimax platform a Vertimax Raptor and tell me you won't see the improvement. I know it might be early. I know it's one preseason game, but they only get 3. I think the left tackle battle's over. I think it's over, bro.
Okay.
I think it's over. I just what I saw from Penning is he had good snaps, but like the bad snaps against second and third stringers were like monumentally bad. And just in my natural head, I'm going, if this is how you're whiffing or getting beat by second and third stringers on the Texans, you're supposed to be out there against Atlanta week 1 and then Tampa Bay week 2 going to get Shaq Barrett, Joe Tryon.
And take you to school.
I don't see it, man. I know that he's gotten a lot of more reps with the ones in training camp, but again, DA said it. Practice is great and practice means a lot, but like game film and game like that matters. There was a couple of plays in this game that Penning had at least 2 or 3 that were just bad. If you read his scouting report at the prospect of his strengths and his weaknesses, this game, his first preseason game as a pro, was a perfect example of it. And this, keep in mind, I'm not writing off Trevor Penning as a player or anything like that. I'm just saying that for maybe this season, and James Hurst only played 1 drive, and he looked pretty decent in the drive. Gave Andy Dalton good protection most of the drive down the field. I'm just saying, specifically in this preseason or in this season for the Saints, if they're all in, there's no rush for Penning to take that LT1 spot, man. I don't see it. So yeah. I know that you saw Penning kind of later in the game, kind of similar trick to Peyton Turner. Trevor Penning was out there most of the entire game, at least 80 to 90% of the snaps.
He was, man.
So I just don't know. I just think that for the offense going forward, I know it's early and if Trevor Penning plays well against Green Bay, maybe that's a different conversation. Just feels like the left tackle spot is James Hurst's to lose at this point.
Yeah, and it's to me, I just don't feel like it's a race for him to start. Like it's just I don't feel the pressure for him to be a day 1 starter at left tackle. It's such a hard position, man.
Hard.
Like when we drafted him, I already penciled him as either a late in the season starter, or it's going to be a year. Because it's just hard to do. And that's fine. Like it's completely fine. But what you want to see is the traits, and I think we do see the traits that can excel. But I want to see him build over this preseason. Just little incremental improvements. If he lost a certain way in this game, I want to see him try to win those battles the next game. Honestly, I would like to see him with the ones. I want to see him with the ones next week. And just to see how he does, bro. Like, just to see how he does with that competition. If he gets work. But I just kind of want to see him, just kind of thrown into the fire and just to see where he stands.
Something that makes a lot of sense to me. I have a working theory. Who's the speed edge rusher on the Saints?
You don't have one.
When Trevor
they don't do speed.
There you go. So when Trevor Penning's in practice, he's going against other guys.
Yeah.
He's blocking the type of players that he does well against.
Right. He's blocking power guys.
And that's right in his wheelhouse. But you put a speed rusher out there, or a rusher that maybe can spin inside or do whatever, then you see kind of like that, I don't know, like the flaws in his game that needs to improve. That's
a good point, man.
One of the most cliche sayings in teams and sports, especially in football. It's iron sharpens iron, right? Which is true. But if that iron is just one type of iron, like how are you truly being sharpened? You're just only being sharpened against one type of iron. But like we know how the NFL is. Like perfect. I said week 2, Tampa Bay. Joe Tryon's not a power rusher, bro. Joe Tryon and Shaq Barrett, they come in with heat.
Exactly.
And that's just not what he goes against in training camp because the Saints don't have edge rushers like that. But I think your point of him there's no rush to start him. I think that's right on the money. It'll be interesting to see if he's out there with the starters against the Packers on Friday, man. That'll be very interesting to see. Because the Packers, I've said on this podcast, I feel like they're built very Saints-like. I know they have Aaron Rodgers, and that's a huge difference compared to the Saints. But both teams are built with their defenses and secondary, and their defense is kind of like the heartbeat of the team. Your boy, want to talk about Tony Jones? Tony Jones makes some nice runs, nice moves, looking like just looking like Tony Jones, man. Tony Jones.
He's fine, man. He's fine.
Finally, Abram Smith gets in the game. Finally, late third quarter for a play, and then like fourth quarter, he's looking good, man. I know he's running against the 2s and 3s, looking good. Like, okay, Abram.
That was pop to him. They got a little pop to him, man.
And then he had that fumble, like Abram, that could have done you in. I don't know. I think to your point that you just made against Penny, and I would say the same thing for Abram Smith. Like, I want to see Abram Smith for like 2s next Friday, man. Let's see how he does against the 2s. Like,
yeah, man.
But I think you said it right. Like, there's some pop to him that Tony Jones Jr. doesn't bring, Zigbo doesn't bring. Like, there's something to him that other running backs on the team besides like AK and Mark Ingram don't bring.
Exactly. So I just want to see it. So I think that's, you got to use preseason for that. It's not all about depth chart and all that shit. You just want to see how dudes perform with the team you actually plan on starting in the season. So, him running with the 2s or the 3s, you see the power he has. Now let's see him catch a couple passes from Dalton. Let's see him run behind Andrews Pete and Hurst and all those guys. Let's see what that looks like. That way you can at least know, you know what I'm saying? Like, know what you got.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And then I believe leading up to the game against the Packers, they're going to do joint practices at least 1 or 2 days before that. So I'll be like I was saying in the Zoom, like, we going to get to see MT against Jair Alexander, bro, or Olave against Alexander, like sign me up, bro. Like, I want to see it. Like that's, to me, like, that's better than seeing like those clips or whatever is probably. I mean, we'll watch the preseason game, but that's the shit we really want to see. For being honest, can we talk about how Ian Book was a wasted 4th round draft pick, bro?
A waste, bro. Like, on one level, I get it because it's like, okay, take your stab at quarterbacks. But to me, it was like Ian Book. Like, Ian Book is who you take a stab at? Like, of all people? I mean, look, people love him. Coaches, he's definitely the coaches type of guy to have in the building. But if the Saints didn't draft him, you can't tell me he wouldn't have been available undrafted. You can't tell me he wouldn't have been a UDFA, bro. Sean Payton, like, I see me in him. Yeah, motherfucker, you didn't make it as a quarterback.
He just looked so uneven, and just like his throws were just most of his throws when he missed them high, consistently high. Like, that led to the first interception. that led to some of his receivers getting like rushed. I said this about 2 weeks ago, maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I didn't think he was going to make the 53, and I think tonight might have solidified it.
Yeah, bro. I think you're right, bro. It was such an important preseason. And if old dude, what's that dude they just brought in?
Oh, KJ Costello?
Costello, man, if he come in and show a little something, good night.
Yeah.
He got so much.
It was just, I don't know. Like he got so much playing time. Right? He basically got from like the first drive Andy Dalton came out, and I think it was Ian Book ever since. So maybe Andy Dalton had 2 drives, but I don't think he did. I think he only had the one. And it was literally Ian Book the rest of the game. And I was like, oh shit. And just I don't know. Trying to think anything else that just kind of really stuck out to me. I mean, I think we talked about it all. We're gonna kind of keep this one short. We did I did the Zoom live stream, most of it.
You did the heavy lifting.
I did this week. But I keep going back to the 2 things on my list. Is I have Ruiz's name and I have a dash, and it's same with the question mark on it, and I'm just like, it's the same shit with this dude, bro. It's the same shit.
Really? So you did no improvement.
Just same shit, and it's just like everyone talks about open competition, and no one started. Like, where's the open competition?
Where's that?
Like, I don't know, man. Like speaking of the question, everyone, one player you bring back to the Saints team, and a lot of people say Jari Evans or Carl Nicks, and I get it. Those are great answers. I just felt like Nick Furley with this defense would just elevate it to like a completely different level. But I get the concern for Ruiz, because Ruiz has snaps in games couple where it's just like, God damn, bro, like. And the most outrageous thing of this entire game, the absolute most outrageous thing I saw, is Trevor Penning got worked. I think it led to a sack on Ian Book. He goes to the sideline. Fucking Cesar Ruiz is trying to coach Trevor Penning up, bro. Cesar Ruiz? No, that ain't what I think it is, bro. No, it's not you. I don't know, man. Like, within season football is going to be within a month away, or give or take from happening. Can we get? And I know it's not going to happen. I know, but can we get some type of competition at right guard? Can we just stop penciling in 51? All that. Oh, Reese looked good, and one-on-ones he stole this player, and people saying like Reese had the best like. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't see it. I don't see it, man. I don't. It just annoys me. Like, he annoys me just like your whole thing when people are like, oh, we need another backup linebacker when Zach Bond's, like, on the team. It's like,
oh, man.
This drives me crazy. One last thing I'll say before we wrap up again. We don't want to keep this too long. I'm tired. Ryan's tired. Just how... And it may mean nothing, man, but I may be reading too much into it. But, like, Deontay Hardy and Traquan Smith playing, like, late in the second quarter, and then Traquan playing a little bit in the third. I'm not reading into it. I just want to say that the whole wide receiver, whatever you want to call it, dilemma, the way that is going to get worked out before they get cut down to 53 is going to be absolutely fascinating to me.
It is, bro. It really is, man.
Dixon made some good plays out there. Kurt Merritt didn't show me a lot, unfortunately. I think Dixon definitely played a little better. Quan Baker had a few glimpses, but he gonna miss 6 games, and I don't, likely not gonna make the team. I do think I've said on this pod, I think Kevin White's spot on the team is safe, not so much as a wide receiver, but definitely just as a special teamer. He's first team gunner. Like, first team gunners huge. Like those people make the team. Some other things I noticed, like Daniel Sorensen is like with the first team special teams too. So even though maybe we thought maybe Daniel Sorensen's not going to make the team, he made just the special teams. One player that stood out to me that we talked about before is Justin Evans. Had an incredible, very great interception that should have been PI on the Saints by Fields, the undrafted rookie free agent from college, from Texas Tech. That's not going to make the team. But Justin Fields showed range, made a great catch on that interception. He had another play earlier in the game where the receiver caught the ball on the Texans and he just came down humming and just lit him up. I know he played kind of late in the third and whatever, but I like just limited what I saw from Justin Evans, man. I do like him. I do think there's a role on the team for him. I mean, I think that's, for the most part, man, I think that's pretty much it. It is just going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Training camp and practices are still ongoing. The upcoming week practices against the Packers is going to be great to watch. Like I'm really excited to get those like training camp updates and seeing who won those battles. But more than anything, I'm proud of us, for doing this for the hashtag Saints Twitter community. This is something that we are wanting to build. So even though it's a preseason game, there was I think at the most 8 or 9 people in the Zoom live stream. So we really appreciate y'all and the support. We know it's just a random Saturday, and there's a lot of things that you be doing on your Saturday with your family and whatnot. So we appreciate y'all being in there. We're gonna be back on Friday. Doing the same thing for the Packers live stream. And I think that's pretty much it. Anything? Oh, one thing I want to say. Blake Gilligan, Big Nuts Lutz, they back, bruh. That's huge.
That was a major. Like listening to the radio and all that. Like I was like, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yes.
Like just the fact that he was hitting those extra points, got a penalty on one, got pushed back, still hit it. It's like, man, that's huge, bro. Like I know it just seems so small, but man, go look at last year, bro. They would have won at least 2 games with him. At least
2 games and would have been in the playoffs.
It would have been in the playoffs, man. Like he is so crucial that he's healthy. So I'm just like crossing my fingers that he stays that way.
Yeah,
and stay good.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Stay healthy. Stay consistent, and just being the great kicker when that they signed him up, that they gave that extension to when they signed him. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. We're beat. We're tired. It's been a long day. It's 11 where Ryan is. It's 9 where I am. I still got to run to the grocery store, make ribs tomorrow. Got to get shut from ribs tomorrow, bro.
They'll put it on the grill or in the oven?
In the oven, bro. They not a lot of space to grill where we live. But
man, look, listen. Ain't nothing wrong with oven ribs.
They come out delicious. Delicious. They come out amazing.
I ain't got no problem with oven ribs, bro.
Tomorrow's the last quote unquote weekend day before my baby girl starts school on Monday, 7th grade, which is fucking crazy. So so tomorrow I'm making ribs, and the one request that she had is that we're gonna play. There's a place out here we're gonna go play laser tag. So that's on the agenda tomorrow. So gotta go hit up Wally World, grab the stuff I need for cooking the ribs and everything. And anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for your support. If you've been following us on social media, whether it be on Twitter, on Instagram, we've kind of been trying to hint what's coming, what's coming up next for the pod in terms of designs and maybe some other things that we have coming out the pipe. So please, be on the lookout for that. We have an announcement to come right before week 1, before the Saints take on the Falcons, start the season. So be on the lookout for that. Thank y'all for all y'all support. If you're listening, if you want to join the live stream and be in it on Zoom, if you haven't become a Patreon yet, please, please, please become a Patreon. If you are a Patreon at the $10 level, we are in the process of getting more mugs out. I'm trying to get everyone a mug out before the start of the season. We're looking pretty good. Maybe miss 5 or 10, but we're looking pretty good overall. So thank y'all so much. We'll be back to do a Packers preview on Wednesday. What is going on over there, Ryan?
Oh, wife watching P-Valley.
On Wednesday, and then we'll be back with the live stream on Zoom on Friday for the Packers preseason game number 2. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for supporting us. If on social media, like it, retweet it, do all that to get the word out there, to get our listeners up. We appreciate it. With that, we're out.
Peace.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly.